Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 7 articles for you in this episode, and all the URLs are in the description of the video for your convenience. This is actually the second time I'm recording this because the first time it didn't have any audio. So we'll try it again. First article off of Liberty Writers News says Trump's in shock. What Edward Snowden just told him will bring down everything. Snowden tweeted yesterday that he was finally not a Russian spy. Juan Zarate is the former deputy national security advisor. He says that Trump should be cautious on accepting Snowden. The U.S. Justice Department said that it would welcome the arrival of Snowden, even though it is likely that he will spend the rest of his life in prison. Trump has previously called Snowden a spy and a traitor who deserves to be executed, says the Huffington Post. Vladimir Putin is handing over Snowden as a chance to curry favor with Trump, according to NBC News. And the tweet Snowden put through says, finally, irrefutable evidence that I never cooperated with Russian intel. No country trades away spies as the rest of the world would fear their next. Snowden. Obama could never get Snowden. Obama was the weakest president to ever live. And there is a video that shows what Trump had to say about Snowden. The quote from it says, I think he's a total traitor and I would deal with him harshly. And if I were president, Putin would give him over, said Trump in July. It says, do you think Trump should stick to his plan with Snowden if Vladimir Putin hands him over? He is doing absolutely everything he said he would do. He is doing it. CNN won't show it. NBC won't show it. That's why we need to get this out there. There is that article. The next one is off of Liberty Writers, and it says, get ready, Donald Trump just gave amazing tax news to all Americans. 2 birds with 1 stone. 2 of Donald Trump's biggest promises were to save American businesses and lower taxes across the board. Well, lo and behold, the restoration of capitalism is upon us. Trump announced today that major tax cuts for American businesses will be coming in the next 2 to 3 weeks. The president told a meeting of airline executives today, lowering the overall tax burden on American business is big league. That's coming along very well. We're way ahead of schedule, I believe, and we're going to be announcing something, I would say, over the next 2 to 3 weeks, but that will be phenomenal. To put a real cherry on top of this Capitalism Sunday, the stock market and the value of the dollar skyrocketed immediately after Trump's announcement. Donald Trump has pledged to cut the corporate tax rate in the U.S. down from a record high of 35% to 15%, while also closing tax loopholes many billionaires and businesses used to lower their rates to near zero. So if you've ever wanted to invest in American businesses or even start up your own, now's the time. Thanks to President Trump, our country is finally has a bright future to look forward to again. I don't know that I agree with all that is said there. I think that we have some serious economic problems that we may be facing extremely shortly. So I think caution would be the proper word to use, but we shall see. The next one we have is off of freebeacon.com. And it says, if I can get it to cooperate with me here, releases list of terrorist suspect cases from travel ban countries. President Trump responded to his critics who claim his travel ban goes too far by releasing a list of terror cases that involve suspects in the U.S. from 7 countries listed in his executive order. Trump signed an executive order 2 weeks ago imposing a 90-day travel ban on the citizens of 7 Muslim-majority countries, outraging many Americans. A federal judge blocked the order, arguing that there hadn't been any terrorist-related arrests from the 7 targeted countries since September 11th of 2001, the Washington Free Beacon reported. Judge James Robart who sits on the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Washington State, said in court Friday that no foreign nationals from the 7 countries targeted by Trump's travel ban, Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, Sudan, and Yemen, have been arrested in the U.S. for terrorist activity. Robart asked Justice Department Attorney Michelle Bennett to tell him how many such arrests have been made. When no government lawyer had an answer, Robart said the number is 0. Robart's claim is false. The White House circulated a list providing 24 examples of refugees and other immigrants from Somalia, Sudan, Iraq, Iran, Yemen, and Syria and Libya who have been arrested on terror-related charges, Fox News reported. The White House document itself names 10 individuals from Somalia, 6 from Iraq, 1 from Yemen, 2 from Sudan, 2 from Iran, 2 from Libya, and 1 from Syria. The cases span the last 8 years and include most recently a case in June in which 2 Somali refugees were jailed for conspiring in Syria on behalf of ISIS. It also includes a case from March of last year where a Yemeni native who became a U.S. citizen was sentenced to 22 years in prison for attempting to provide material support to ISIS and planning to shoot and kill members of the U.S. military who had returned from Iraq. The dossier also sheds light on a case in January of 2016 involving a Palestinian born in Iraq who came to the U.S. as a refugee and allegedly tried to provide materials to terror groups abroad. The dossier cited multiple media reports that the suspect told his wife, "I want to blow myself up. I'm against America." Earlier Wednesday, Trump met with local police chiefs and sheriffs. He defended his travel ban and told them that he believed the court case was being politicized. "I don't ever want to call our court biased, so I won't call it biased. And if we haven't had a decision yet, but the courts seem to be so political," Trump said. "It would be so great for our justice system if they were able to read a statement and do what's right and do, and that's to do with the security of our nation, which is so important. I think it's sad. I think it's a sad day," he added. "I think our security is at risk today, and it will be at risk until such time as we get what we are entitled to as citizens of this country." The next article is off of LibertyHeadlines.com, and it says, "Trump may not appeal travel ban decision to the Supreme Court." Necessarily true, because this starts out with an update from Zero Hedge, and it says, "In the latest moments of confusion for the new administration, Chief of Staff Reince Priebus said that the administration was still considering an appeal to the Supreme Court after a lower court soundly rejected its request to reinstate the order. Priebus' statement came 1 hour after the White House official said it was not planned to challenge the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling upholding a temporary restraining order, or TRO, blocking the ban, while Trump himself has said a new order on could come next week. Priebus told the Washington Post that every single court option is on the table, including an appeal decision on the TRO to the Supreme Court. In short, the situation remains fluid. So there you have that information. The next one is off of BizPac Review. It says, another legal twist. Judge wants another vote on the travel ban. To President Donald Trump's immigration order, a judge on the Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals is requesting a vote to reconsider the decision handed down on Thursday. The judge, who was not named in the order, requested that a vote be taken as to whether the unanimous decision by the panel of the 3 Ninth Circuit federal judges could be reconsidered en bloc before the 11 federal judges of the Ninth Circuit Court, Law News reported. Clear whether the move by the judge was due to his dissatisfaction with the court's decision or if he believed their votes could be overturned. A panel of 3 judges with the extremely liberal San Francisco-based court delivered a unanimous decision that upheld a temporary restraining order suspending Trump's travel ban from 7 Muslim-majority nations. According to Law News, Chief Judge Sidney Thomas of the Ninth Circuit Court has instructed both Trump's DOJ team and the lawyers for the state of Washington and Minnesota to file their briefs due by Thursday, February the 16th, stating whether they believe the motion should be considered en bloc. To get a rehearing, a majority of 29 active judges on the court would need to vote in favor. Some legal experts contend, however, that it is unlikely that a majority of the judges, most of whom were appointed by Democrats, would agree with this. While Trump has not requested an en banc review of the full Ninth Circuit panel, he indicates that he plans to fight the decision and has other options available. We'll win the battle, but we also have a lot of other options, including just filing a brand new order, Trump told members of the press aboard Air Force One on Friday. The next article is off of thehill.com. It says Trump-McCain feud takes a new turn. Donald Trump and John McCain wrote a new chapter in their long feud this week when the president ripped the Arizona GOP senator for emboldening the enemy by calling last month's U.S. raid in Yemen a failure. The nasty jousting between the Republican president and the senator was both unusual and unprecedented. Was both unusual and predictable. The two have repeatedly clashed on personal terms. One of Trump's first controversies was to mock McCain's time as a prisoner of war, saying he liked people who weren't captured. He repeatedly criticized Trump on foreign policy, knocking him for being too willing to give Russian President Vladimir Putin the doubt, and criticizing his attacks on Gold Star family during the presidential campaign. Republicans who stayed away from the GOP convention. At the same time, McCain has also played the part of dutiful Republican. He has voted for every Trump cabinet pick, and he played down any animosity with Trump after the business mogul won the GOP presidential nomination. Trump is likely to need McCain's help in advancing his agenda. The 2008 GOP presidential candidate is the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee and will play a huge role in defense policy over the next 2 years. McCain could foil Trump in policy areas such as torture in Ukraine through the annual defense authorization bill. He warned Trump not to lift sanctions against Russia, which have been imposed over Moscow's annexation of Crimea. It's backed of separatists elsewhere in eastern Ukraine, and it's meddling in the U.S. election. In that vein, McCain recently teamed up with 5 other senators from both parties on a bill that would require congressional oversight before Trump can lift the sanctions. McCain and Trump this week over the raid in Yemen, which left 1 Navy SEAL and a number of civilians dead. The White House has insisted the operation was a success, with spokesman Sean Spicer saying anyone critical of it was doing a disservice to the fallen SEAL. Hours later, McCain told NBC News that it's fair to criticize a mission for failing and still hold respect for those who served, noting his feelings about a failed mission to save him from a prisoner of war camp in Vietnam. It might have ended there were it not for President's fondness for Twitter. Senator McCain should not be talking about the success or failure of a mission to the media. Owns the enemy. He's been losing so long he doesn't know how to win anymore, Trump tweeted on Thursday. Trump's tweets made more headlines, though McCain didn't take the bait and refused to offer another comment, though he did tweak the president again on Russia. In an interview this week, Trump said the U.S. is not innocent in response to a comment about Russian Vladimir Putin being a killer. McCain said he strongly disagrees with the president on Putin. What we need to do is understand Vladimir Putin for what he is, a murderer and a thug, McCain told reporters. Supporters of McCain shrug off his criticism of Trump, arguing they are no different from his public criticisms of President George W. Bush and President Obama. After Bush beat him in 2000 primary, McCain was sometimes a thorn in the side of the new president, and after Obama defeated McCain, the Republican was often seen as one of the new president's most strident critics. Even some wondered if bitterness over the defeat played a role in McCain's criticism at the time. It's just McCain. What you are seeing is John McCain being John McCain. This is no different than when George W. Bush was president, when Barack Obama was president, and now when Donald Trump is president. One former McCain aide told The Hill, he says what he believes, whether it's in support of the president or not. That's been a hallmark of his entire career. Fights between McCain and Trump seem almost certain. Neither likes to back down from a fight, and it is hard to believe that Trump's criticism of McCain haven't got under his skin. Certainly irritated his family members. Meghan McCain, the senator's daughter, lashed out at Trump this week, saying that her father, grandfather, and brothers had all served in the military while Trump had not. McCain is very proud of his Maverick brand and Donald Trump, so I don't think the two will ever be close, one Trump ally outside of the White House said. Gordon Adams, a professor at the American University who worked on the defense budgeting in the Clinton administration, called McCain and Trump's fight over the Yemen raid a microcosm of what is to come in the next few years. This Authorization Act isn't a typical vehicle for sanctions legislation. Adams said he wouldn't be surprised to see language in this year's tying Trump's hands on Russian sanctions. The old phrase about Congress is that they go along to get along. Not in John McCain's case, Adams said. All that I have for you in this episode is off of Conservative Tribune, and it says Trump to rein in Obama phone program. Induces careful spending. Wise advice, especially for government. Who said that? Benjamin Franklin? Nope. Pai, the new chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, and he currently has the wasteful, fraud-riddled Lifeline program, better known as the Obama phone program, clearly in his sights. Steps on his own and supporting measures in Congress to cut out waste, fraud, and abuse in a program that mushroomed during the Obama presidency, according to Breitbart. Created by the Reagan administration in 1985, Lifeline provides subsidized landline phone service to low-income families. It was expanded under George W. Bush administration to add wireless service and popularized by massive outreach campaigns during President Barack Obama's administration. Program advocates now want to see it expanded internet service because everyone deserves free internet, right? Right? Pai agrees with expansion of the program, but not at the expense of responsible spending. While still a commission member, prior to being named chairman by President Donald Trump in January, he disagreed with expansion because of spending cap was not in place. And this, if you want to pull it up to see the video. And I'm going to try to get it to scroll up here so I can read some more. The current annual budget is $2.2 billion. A bill now in Congress would cut that by almost half, setting the program spending cap at $1.5 billion, according to Axios. Fraud is reportedly rampant in the program, and expansion requires that it be stopped. In 2016 report of a $51 million fraud investigation of the program was not released until April 1st of 2016, conveniently one day after the Democrat-heavy FCC was scheduled to vote. Pai was sharply critical of the timing of the report at the time, according to the Washington Free Beacon. Now he is in keep the agency on budget. The primary fraudster was Total Call Mobile. Lifeline users by tens of thousands, pocketing $9.7 million in federal subsidies. In true Democrat fashion, the Obama-led FCC pursued only a fraction of the only a fraction of the identified cases, according to Breitbart. In real money terms, the settlement could or should have been $84.2 million, not the $51 million in damages the FCC sought. But why should Democrats be concerned? After all, it's only money. your money. Speaking of that, remember the Obama phone lady? Michelle Dowry of Cleveland, Ohio, became an internet sensation in 2012 when she worked for the Obama campaign, yelling at a reporter that Obama was giving every minority a phone as long as you were on food stamps, Social Security, got no income. In 2013, Dowry, though, appeared on InfoWars founder Alex Jones' YouTube channel to discuss her change of heart about Obama. The reason? She'd gotten a job as a maid. And here's your quote. And my first check is eaten up by taxes. Apparently, it finally occurred to her who pays for those subsidized phones. And that's all I have for you in this episode. If you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up and let me know. Social media so everybody gets to enjoy the news. And don't forget to subscribe. That way you'll stay informed.